Oh my god, I think I got a little too drunk. This is like my third gimlet. I haven't done these in a while, and I feel like it's high time you guys and I reconnect and just have a little chit chat. So, the reason that prompted this was I was at this rooftop last weekend, and I met these girls, these two 23-year-old girls, fresh out of college. And I think the thing about being 23 is that you're uniquely depressed. You're like, my parents are on my ass. How many times am I going to defer these fucking loans? Which we've all been there. I mean, maybe not we've all, but like I have. And so it really got me kind of thinking, what would you tell your 23-year-old self? I was giving them all of this advice. Don't feel like what you're going through is a reflection on you. Like, I feel like this is just a test for you to like try and iterate and figure out like what lights you up and figure out what you're willing to fail at. And the biggest takeaway that I hope they got from it was that you have to allow yourself to fail at so many different things, bitch. Like, the number of things that I've allowed myself to fail at, I've done so many things that made absolutely zero fucking sense, bitch. It takes work to be that so far removed from your current circumstances, and the work is allowing yourself to fail and create momentum by failing. And so I don't know if this is what these girls wanted to hear. It's funny for me looking back on all the different careers that I had or all the different businesses that I tried to start, which got me to thinking about my stint in real estate. Girl of all motherfucking things. I got my real estate license in New York City, and I ended up doing the real estate exam with one shoe on my foot, bitch. Because that's not a story for the motherfucking ages. There's just something about the brilliance of the story that I feel like cannot be captured through written word alone. And so to the hundreds of you that are new here since I've told this story, welcome. Let's strap in and let's talk about the single-handed most embarrassing moment in my entire career and possibly in my entire life. Cheers. Shall we? The year is 2015 and I am desperate. I'm living in New York City. I'm a recent-ish college grad and nothing is really working out, obviously, as you know. I am, after all, a 2008 millennial, robbed from a promised career path, even after doing everything the right. You know, okay, you know how it was. I got my degree, was a rock star intern at several record labels, and even still ended up working at Bloomingdale's flagship on 59th Street in Contemporary, thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing here? Oh, at that time, you know how it was, like, none of the recent grads I feel like were working in their chosen career fields. I hadn't become an entrepreneur at that point, but kind of had an inkling that I was supposed to be one, but I wasn't really there yet. I ended up just like being so desperate having to pay for my rent because I'm back in New York City at this time. And I was doing freelance and I was writing, which I love, but like that wasn't really paying a lot. And so I ended up doing retail. That's something that I kind of had always done in the backdrop. I mean, my first job was at Abercrombie and Fitch, and honestly, I feel like I only applied there when I was a teenager because I wanted the validation to see if I was hot enough to work there. So like I had always kind of like had little part-time retail jobs in the background, but like Bloomingdale's 59th Street, it's like serious business, bitch. Like it's like a commissioned sales environment. It's like dog eat dog world. I worked for Joie. Do you guys remember Joie? Like what the fuck was even that about? So I'm working at Bloomingdale's 59th Street just to fucking pay the rent to live with this like psycho roommate that I have. In hindsight, who was trying to poison me. That's another story perhaps for another day. Let's continue. What the hell am I doing here? Even with my retail background, Bloomingdale's ran far too tight a ship for me. I mean, truly. Commission sales meant showing up to work in my one good blazer and running around that massive store so much that my toms started to unseam at the sole. I was so poor. The managers watched us like they had nothing better to do because they didn't, clocking in on our progress through the register every few hours to make sure that we were hitting our numbers. Naturally, as someone with an innate aversion to hard, payrolled work, I was over it within weeks. After a few months of this, I had reached a breaking point. Literally, I reached a breaking point. I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I literally don't care who I have to blow. I can't. Obviously, I did care who I had to blow because, like, I didn't blow anybody, which is how I ended up taking the real estate exam with one shoe on my foot. But let's continue. I wasn't going to get comfortable financially from this. I was already in commission sales. Why didn't I just transfer that experience over to getting my real estate license for bigger money? Because that makes fucking sense. After studying culture and media at the new school, why don't you do real estate? I had 3 years worth of proof that the resume thing wasn't working, and it really wasn't, to be honest. I had a gorgeous resume. It was like so creative directed so amazingly from my girlfriend. Shout out to Stephanie DeJesus that went to Parsons. And like the girls still weren't feeling it. They were like, no, sorry. So I'd been job scammed, resulting in permanent block from Venmo for accepting a payment in Bitcoin. And I didn't know what else I was going to do to remain in New York City. I just had to be in New York. You know what it's like to be 25? You just got to be there. As my interest in Bloomies rapidly waned, my manager pulled me to the side and said to me in her bone-chilling Australian accent that I could become great enough at this to buy a home one day. But it appeared too much that I didn't care. And I looked down at the black and white checkered floors, took a long inhale through gritted teeth, and told her, as though it were a revelation, it was because I didn't. Predictably, I ended up quitting soon after, even with no safety net, as I had done several times before in my young life by now. What can I say? When I don't want to do something, I just can't do it. And definitely not without the help of Adderall. I stayed painfully at Bloomingdale's through a couple more pay periods before I decided for sure that I better quit and get into real estate. Penny pinching and always resourceful, I was perusing the internet when I stumbled upon the New York real estate online course being offered for $99 on Groupon. Self-paced too, which meant I didn't have to take classes anywhere. I could crash course my way through on my own time. It was perfect. Here's the thing though, I absolutely had to pass this test, okay? I had to pass this test. The math was simple. I had to take the course, pass the test, get my license, start at a firm, and do my first deal all within the next month. Or not only that, the test is offered once a month. The situation is crucial. If I fail, that would absolutely be it. With Bloomingdale's behind me, I breezed through the online course, I passed the online course, and I scheduled a once a month state test that I absolutely cannot fail. It's the middle of a muggy New York summer. The test is at the Department of State at 9 a.m. downtown in FAILFAIL. I live on the Upper East Side at the time with a psycho yogi roommate who I've since realized was trying to poison me by continuously offering me smoothies despite our tension. I just cannot believe I'm just piecing this together like a decade later that she's trying to kill me. Who allegedly, a non-morning person, I willed myself to get moving super early because I get to the train a little before 8:15. I live by the 405 Express line. Everyone knows it doesn't take 45 goddamn minutes to get from 86th Street to Fulton. I'm 2 levels below ground waiting for the express. And although I prefer a sneaker, I'm glad today I decided to throw in my slides. The station is smoldering hot. The station is also packed. There are so many people waiting. Of course, there's so many people waiting because the train is late. Of course it is. I look at my time, it's 8:20, then it's 8:23, and then it's 8:27. The panic sets in. I have to make this test. And not only that, when I get off the train, I don't really know FAILFAIL like that. So I'm scared I'm going to be walking the wrong direction and lose precious minutes. The train finally comes. It has to be past 8:30. I'm sweating, by the way, schwitzing, okay? By now, I'm scared to look at the time. I squeeze on, trying to stay close to the door. It's stopping at every single stop, slowly. People decide to take their sweet time getting on and off. Today of all days, of course, the day I actually wake up the fuck early. Of course, this is happening, right? Because it wouldn't be my life if it wasn't. My heart is racing, but I decide that I'm going to make it, and it is done. Finally, I'm relieved to be approaching my stop. I look at the time. It's 8:50 something. The train stops and everyone pushes off like a swarm of sardines. But as I get off the train, some man is pushing to get on, and while I'm trying to get off, his foot collides with mine. Wouldn't you know? Kicks my slide clean off my foot into the tracks, bitch. It's 8:52 or something at this point. I have 8 minutes to get to this fucking test, or else I can't take it again. I can't do real estate. I'm going to be put out. I have to move back with my fucking toxic, crazy family who's loud and crazy. I'm like, this cannot be happening to me. I'm standing there somewhere on the platform, frozen, my mouth open, okay, agape. He's somewhere deep in the subway car, completely unaware, as men so often are. I watch the train pull off while my slide is somewhere in Rat Kingdom, beneath the tracks. I wonder for a second what I should do. It's 8:52. I have one shoe on my foot. I tell myself that even if I had time to buy a new one, nowhere is open right now, and I have to make this test. So before I waste any more time, I just make the split-second decision. Bitch, you have to make this test. So I run up the subway stairs, my bare left foot touching the floor, too hopped up off adrenaline to even let the embarrassment overcome me. I tell myself it's New York, that everyone's seen worse things, and that literally nobody cares. I get to the Department of State within a few minutes to spare. Okay, I'm running up and down FAILFAIL. I lie to you not. Okay, my bare foot on the fucking ground. Like literally on the New York streets. I'm barefoot with one shoe on, running, trying to find this fucking place. Of course, I make it to the building, okay? I get to the Department of State with a few minutes to spare. I push heavily at the revolving doors, thinking the effort might make them turn faster. The cold from the marble floor comes as a startling mercy after the relentless heat of the pavement. That is a fucking bar. Where is my book deal? I kind of want 7 figures though, but like holler at me if you think that's possible. Cold from the marble floor comes as a startling mercy after the relentless heat of the pavement. The security guard is behind his desk, luckily not paying attention to much. Again, as men so often are not. You're going to be on such and such floor, he says, and waves me through. I don't look back, but I assume he paid my barefoot no mind. I get to the actual room where the test is being administered. The door is closed. They were about to start and I have to knock. That's not embarrassing. Like, I have to literally knock on the door with one fucking shoe in my foot. I get to the actual room, but the teacher opens the door and she lets me in. She looks at me, she looks down, and she notices my foot completely bare. She looks back at my face with a smile. Please don't ask. I tell her, I become aware that I've never heard anyone say those 3 words outside of a show or a movie. She doesn't ask, and she hands me a thick booklet. It has to be over 100 people I had to walk past, already sat, of course, because all of New York is here taking this test since it's offered only once a fucking month. Though I don't feel any heads turn, I still ignore the fact that every single person must be watching me tiptoe to my seat, which will become my sanctuary for the next 3 hours. I sit down, I cross my legs, I lock in, and I take that mother test. Some days later, I learned I passed. I got my license. Of course I did, though, honestly. Like, I'm a smart girl. I got my license. I joined a firm. I end up doing my first deal within the month, and all is restored. Actually, something I don't say is that I end up doing my first 3 deals within the month. That is another story, because I realized I ended up doing a co-deal with someone who I learned to be a scammer, and like my license was at risk because you can't like do deals with scammers and like, anyway, that's a whole other story again. Like, the industry is not what these shows make it seem. Please do not let owning Manhattan or $1 Million Listing talk you into getting your license. Okay, you guys, actually, I'm serious. It is so dark, that industry. Like, kudos to anybody who works in New York City real estate and is thriving. I appreciate that for you so much, because it is such a, not only is it a tough industry to break through, but like it's a tough industry to sustain a career in. It is literally so toxic. It's so fast paced. It's so go, 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 go. As I write, the commission splits, the drama, the drug use, the deals that turn into no deals. It's a lot. I don't do real estate anymore and I don't miss it. But if anyone in my new money network is looking for something in New York State, I'm happy to renew and help you out for my 3%. Bitch, I will fucking call my guys to renew my shit and I'll help you find a place, because seriously, like, I need a coin. And that is the story of how I got my real estate license and took the New York State exam with one slide on my foot. This story sobered me up from the aggravation of missing my noon workout today at Barry's. I guess that's what was happening when I wrote this. And truly, life could be worse, as I write and resonate with to this day. That is this story. I just can't believe, like, seeing those girls on that rooftop and they're like, I'm 23, and like they were like, what were you doing at 23? And I'm like, actually, I was at Tria, which is this wine bar in Philly, with my girlfriends when, you know, a Sunday late night happy hour was still cheap and the wine was $4 and a cheese plate was like maybe 8 or 10. You know, and I'm like, honestly, like, that's where I was. Like, we would get together every Sunday and just like bitch about our lives, and I was so depressed, and I just remember feeling like so stuck and feeling like I didn't know up from down and like it would never end, and having so much pressure and the parental noise, which is even worse if you're an eldest daughter, as you know. So I'm just like relaying this, but I'm like, actually, the thing is, I allowed myself to fail at so many different things, and I allowed myself to be okay with that. And so I feel like that was my superpower, and that's something that I want to pass along. Like, at any age, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be 23 coming out of college. It's just like, you can literally reinvent yourself. You can literally close your eyes, go to bed, wake up the next fucking day and be like, I'm a new fucking bitch. It's just not that deep. And like, I feel like when you're 23, everything feels that deep. But I mean, eventually the real estate thing led to a lot of toxic burnout for me. It led to a revelation that I probably no longer needed to be in New York. But that thing led me to the next thing and the next thing, and now this. It was a precipice for so many things, which, you know, evolved into what would become the next iteration of my life as an entrepreneur. You don't really see a way in which you can connect the dots when you're super young because you're so short-sighted. But I think the through line is just allowing yourself to fail at every single thing there is to fail at that makes sense for you to be failing at that point in time. It ultimately led me to the thing. I feel like I'm doing the most impractical shit ever sometimes. You have to earn your way almost to the impractical thing. And I feel like that's where I'm at, and I feel like I've earned it. I poured like 3 gimlets for continuity, but I like actually drank them. And so that's just where I'm at today. I love you guys. This was fun. Until next time, and thank you for subscribing to Slutty Founder. Cheers.